Cryptocurrency has changed the lives of so many people around the world financially. Bitcoin has been one of the fastest and highest growing assets of all time. Now, I'm one of those people who my life was changed from Bitcoin. My life was changed from Ethereum. I recently quit my job. I was working full time for a technology company and I quit my job to go full time in cryptocurrency, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made. Now, this video is going to go through 5 of the most undervalued coins for the 2021 bull run that I see skyrocketing at the end of this year. Now, just remember that this video is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This video is purely for educational purposes only. Now, being successful in cryptocurrency is all about patience and positioning yourself in the right spot to make those gains. Now, we're looking at the total cryptocurrency market capitalization and volume, and we can see that it's in the trillions, and also that since its humble beginnings, it has been on the trend upwards. Now, the longer that something stays within the trend, and not saying that there hasn't been downturns, that there hasn't been volatility, but overall the trend has moved upwards. And when this happens, historically, that asset or the group of assets or subcategory of assets become more stable, they become more secure, and they become more dependable. So just to show you an example like this, let's look at Solana's chart. Now, if you bought Solana back in 2020 in November, you would have paid almost $1.35 for a Solana. And at the peak, you were looking at nearly 200 USD for a Solana. That's over 11,000% gain in under a year. Looking at VeChain's chart is really interesting because I actually purchased VeChain at 1 cent in August last year. And I didn't put that much money on it. I only put in and around $1,000. But at one point I was looking at almost 30,000 AUD in VeChain. And that was almost it was a 1,600% gain. It's gone down now, and you're now looking from that August time frame. It's about a 400, just over nearly 500% gain. But this is the thing, is you don't need to invest a large amount of money to make those large gains. There's some people that put $50 on Dogecoin and they were looking at $5,000 to $10,000 gain. That's the beauty of cryptocurrency, is you don't need a lot. You just need to look out for those altcoin gems. So the market has taken a pretty serious dip, but I just see this as an opportunity to fill my bags for the last leg of this bull run. I believe that Bitcoin is potentially going to $100,000, and we need these corrections in order to get the next legs up. Now, I don't really waste my time with many meme coins. I have traded them before, but this video is going to be purely focused on coins with a lot of use case and coins that can develop that traction pretty quickly. Okay, so the first coin on our list is a coin called Phantom, and it really has sprung into the limelight out of nowhere. It is seen as a potential Solana competitor. Now, it has been listed very recently on a number of reputable exchanges in the past few months, which is really good because it means that a lot more people have access to it. Some of the most important fundamentals of Phantom is that it uses something called a DAG instead of a blockchain. It has almost instant transactions. Transactions cost only a fraction of a cent, and that it is Ethereum compatible. I always believe that this is very essential for a lot of Ethereum competitors, for a lot of coins, that you can deploy and run your Ethereum dApps on it. So Phantom is rewarding developers. It's announcing a $370 million incentive program for builders. So this is to incentivize coders, developers, people in DeFi, NFTs, to start utilizing Phantom. I see Phantom really making headway within the DeFi world. So they have something called Phantom Finance, which is an all-in-one DeFi suite. Mint, trade, lend, and borrow digital assets directly from your wallet. Near zero fees and instant transactions. DeFi is for everyone. So Phantom Finance is encompassing all the really good aspects of DeFi. You can stake your FTM and use it as collateral for DeFi, which is amazing. You can mint dozens of synthetic assets, including cryptocurrencies, national currencies, and commodities. They've got a similar framework to Aave, where you can lend and borrow digital assets to trade and earn interest without losing exposure to your FTM. So Fireblocks HQ now supports FTM, which is insane. Curve Finance, one of the biggest DeFi platforms out there, introduced a pool factory on Phantom. So they're really beginning to make headway. They're really starting to push forward as a serious Ethereum competitor layer 1 solution. So the next coin is Mina, and they claim to be the lightest or the smallest cryptocurrency to exist currently. And the reason the creators made Mina is because they believe that it's only a matter of time before cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum become so large data-wise, because remember that this data needs to be stored somewhere, that only a handful of miners and validator nodes will be able to store their transaction history. So if this happens, that would create centralization. So Mina was created in response to that. So Mina is a smart contract proof of stake cryptocurrency, and the constant blockchain size, so this is the pretty amazing thing about Mina, is that it's only 22 GBs. So that's like the size of like a really small JPEG, like the size of like a logo or something like that. So it has no limit number of block producers, and it has a small market cap. So this means if Mina goes up in price, it wouldn't take much to really push the price higher. So it's really interesting to see on the Mina website how much emphasis they have on community culture. They say it's not hard to quantify, but it's not hard to see in any community. Culture is everything. It's the values that drive us. And they say that this technology is built on respect, that it's built on curiosity, that it's built on excellence, that it's built on openness. And these are really amazing values. And whether or not the creators of Mina actually hold these values true, I think it's not hard to see that the way that Mina was developed, the origins of Mina, like creating a small or the smallest blockchain that doesn't take up that space to promote decentralization, to prevent that centralization where only a few number of people can actually store all that data. I think that's something to keep in mind. And also it's going to be interesting to see where Mina takes this technology. So an example of how Mina's technology is being utilized is through the development of privacy. So Polygon and Mina have recently integrated to empower developers to build privacy preserving decentralized apps. And I think this is a really important stepping stone for cryptocurrency. Privacy is the next thing that's going to propel a lot of gains for a lot of altcoins. So the possibilities of using Mina snaps on Polygon are vast and varied. For example, DeFi platforms requiring KYC could extract user information privately and securely using Mina's snap. So this means that you won't have to reveal or show certain platforms or certain exchanges like all of your private information, because Mina will be able to verify it for you. That's pretty powerful. Non-fungible token builders who want to keep certain elements private, such as ownership data, could use Mina to achieve this. And I think that a lot of people have every right to hide certain elements of their personal details from everyone seeing, or hide certain transactions so that not everyone can have access to their data. Additionally, social media dApps can verify that users are real people without requiring them to share personally identifiable information. So it's kind of like walking through an airport and not needing to show your documents, because you have a verifiable code that lets them know that you are, or you have everything that you need and you are who you are, without having to show the entire world or having to showcase all your documents and all your personal information. So the next coin on our list is Hedera Hashgraph. So they are cracking the enterprise blockchain space, and they have so many solid partnerships and institutional adoption. So they have a bunch of really successful leading organizations that are supporting this project. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Hedera because I really like to support more of a decentralization aspect in cryptocurrency. But I have to admit that when you have such strong partnerships and you have such strong institutional adoption, it's hard for this thing to fail. So some of the reasons I don't love Hedera is that it's not open source. It's only open for review, which is very like unlike most blockchain technologies. Hedera doesn't have any slashing. So just if you didn't know, slashing is where a validated node loses some of its stake supply because it engaged in malicious activity. So the fact that it doesn't have any slashing, you really have to question how decentralized is this thing ever going to be, and is that even something they really want to do? Just something to keep in mind. But yeah, as I said, so many solid partnerships. It's going to be really hard for this thing not to fail when it has such like big, some of the world's biggest leading organizations supporting it. So this next coin is such a sleeping giant, Energy Web token. Now, as the world gets more progressive, it gets more environmentally conscious, Energy Web token is going to take the world by storm because it's the first open source blockchain platform tailored specifically for the energy sector. So you would have heard of this thing called carbon credits, or you would have heard of just like carbon taxation in general, where governments are taxing organizations for their carbon, and that's going to become more of a normality as growing concerns of environmentalism and climate change get bigger and bigger, and they're already pretty big. But Energy Web is a decentralized open source blockchain that wants to enable like the buying and selling of clean energy, which you have to admit that's already a step up from the current carbon credit system. So Energy Web comprises of more than 100 utilities, grid operators, renewable energy developers, and corporate energy buyers. And not just that, like it has team members with like long-standing track records within the renewable energy industries. Now, I think the biggest thing for Energy Web token is like the massive shift that's coming. It's just on the horizon for the world in general towards clean energy. Now, it hasn't been the biggest like coin on people's radar because a lot of people aren't ready, or a lot of like governments, nations, populations aren't ready to move fully into renewables, but it is on the horizon and it's definitely making its way forward. Just to give you an idea of what the token does, the token protects the network against misbehavior, compensates validators via transaction fees and block awards, and can be used to pay for services that streamline and enhance dApps. So the final coin on our list today is Alpha Finance, which is one of my personal favorite DeFi coins or tokens. So Alpha Finance Lab is a research lab that produces asset management platforms on the Binance Smart Chain and on Ethereum. Now, Alpha has a number of successful DeFi Lab products, one of them being the Alpha Homora on the Binance Smart Chain and on Ethereum. And this is where they provide leveraged yield farming. So that's where you borrow tokens or cryptocurrencies and you earn like a higher percentage yield on those borrowed funds. So in the first 3 months, Alpha reached more than 300 million total value locked, which is crazy. Also, Alpha is the native token of the platform, so you can stake your token and earn rewards on your token, and that can also be used to cover any default on your loans for your leveraged yield farming. So it's pretty efficient. So other use cases for the token are for liquidity mining and also for governance. Now, another positive aspect for Alpha Labs is they plan on releasing or implementing a decentralized autonomous DAO. So coming to their website and checking out their tokenomics, you can see they have over 50% of the total supply currently staked, and this is for good reason. So if you come to the Alpha tiers, you'll see that the more you stake of the Alpha token, the more leverage they're going to give to you for your yield farming or whatever it might be. So it kind of acts as collateral for your leverage. So you can see that staking 1,000 to 10,000 Alpha, you'll get 10% higher leverage. 10,000 to 100,000 Alpha, they'll give you 20% higher leverage. Alpha pack leaders over 1 million Alpha token stake will get you 40% higher leverage. Now, if you're a professional yield farmer, that's going to start looking really appealing to you. And this is a really great way to incentivize total value locked. Thanks for watching today's video. Now, if you have any questions or concerns, I would love to hear about them in the comment section below. If you'd like to check out any of my other videos from Peak DeFi, please see them here. And also, I'd love if you'd like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time.